Итак, мы на V1 батле, и сейчас у нас прямо в прямом эфире легендарный, неповторимый Шторм. Шторм из Германии, Battle Squad, на котором учились целые поколения, который вдохновил весь мир своим стилем, пауэрмувом. Он не первый раз на нашем фестивале, и у нас есть уникальная возможность побеседовать с ним. So, hi Storm.
What's up?
How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, I'm fine. Thank you very much for bringing me out here.
Thank you. You're not first time in Russia, and
No, also I'm not first time in St. Petersburg.
yeah, and last times you come usually you come often to Russia, and what you can say about Russian dance scene?
Well, first of all, I think that it's really necessary these days to see that the b-boy scene is growing mostly where people are hungry. You know, I'm not like just saying like they're starving, no, but they're hungry. They want to do something with their life. When I'm looking at like countries that have too many opportunities, you know, where people have too many opportunities, and they have like, you know, you just open the door and everything is given to them, you don't really develop the ambition to do anything. So now, back in the days when I started, I had nothing. So I really had to develop everything out of nothing. And I really see the same thing I see here in Russia. Of course, there's other countries where I see that as well, like in Brazil, you know, like in some Central American countries like Colombia, Venezuela. So you see that people are really eager to do something with their lives. And this is where most of the time you see that people really, they dive into it and they just indulge in breaking and they grow very far and they develop themselves because it's good for them. You know, so from the minute I stepped my foot into Russia, and that was the first time I came was in 2000, in the year 2000 for the Splash Festival in Moscow. Top 9 won back in the days, and I saw Top 9 for the first time, breaking how it's supposed to be, and they showed me the exact same thing how I always loved it to look like. So if you ask me, they kind of like personified the style of b-boying the way it's supposed to be.
2005, I think, yeah?
No, 2000.
2000?
In 2000. Yeah. And I remember that, like Robin, for instance, he was battling with another crew, but I think they got disqualified actually because of physical contact or something. That's what I remember. So.
Yeah, I remember this, but it was 2005, I think.
No.
No?
Was it in 2005?
Yeah. And there was battles 5 versus 5, and Top 9 was 3, and we won.
That was 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And then we go to Splash in Chemnitz.
Exactly, yeah, 2005.
Yeah. It's okay.
I thought it was 2000, wow. But anyway,
Yeah,
it's a long time ago, so that's 12 years ago, yeah?
Yeah.
But yeah.
And you, not first time in V1 battle. Last year you've been in V1 battle. Can you?
Wait. But when did you win Battle of the Year?
2008.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So you're right. Shit. It's a long time ago. Okay. Yeah. I thought it was earlier. But anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. 2000 is too early. So what you? How you feel about V1 battle? You was there.
Well, I was here last year for the first time. What I really like about it is that it's a small battle, right? It's a very it's the atmosphere coming here is very familiar. It's much more of a block party than it is a huge event where thousands of people are coming. Usually those huge events, you know, nobody can see anybody dance. But it's still great, in my opinion. I like those big jams as well, because, you know, like with all the people that are there, you could, you know, like you could socialize, you hang out with your friends, you see people that you haven't seen in a long time. But you never have the same quality of, you know, like that energy, that pureness about the event. Air V1, you see everything firsthand, you know. You're not sitting far away from the judges. The judges always have the best seats in the house. Here, everybody is in the same distance, and you're right there on the scene. People are jumping on the dance floor when something great is happening, and they all share this event. You know, so it's a Cypher event. When you look at how the audience is seated as well, everybody's around the dance floor, and so it creates this atmosphere where everybody, you know, nobody has a preferred position. It's really a Cypher, and people can scream, they can jump on the dance floor, they can do whatever. Nobody knows, are these people from this team or are these people from that team? Nobody's for nobody. Everybody's just there to witness, to experience everything, that whole day, the whole event through. So, and this is something that we don't have so much yet, you know. I think it gives you the quality it needs. It gives you and it gives you freedom. There are no barriers. There's no like, you know, like, okay, show me your ticket, you know, like everywhere. Okay, you only allowed to sit here, and no, you're supposed to sit there or something. No, you come in, you look for the best place where you could see something. You go there, you chill out, then you get a beer from the bar, you know, or whatever, Coca-Cola, you know, like water. You come back, get another spot. You zip a little bit, you want to talk to somebody, there's a big background, you could do that. Walls are full with graffiti, with art, so if you're tired of the dancing, you walk around, you look at all the artistic, you know, like work that the graffiti writers have done. So it's just a huge place where culture is happening, you know. It's all these culture makers, you know, that are coming together, and it's great. It's amazing. What's really crazy too is I remember last year I met Bernard Purdie for the first time. Now, what was funny is like I walked along the street. So I went to the Hermitage, you know, with Raphael, and on our way we saw a street drummer. Somebody was drumming on the street. So I put out some rubles, you know, like, and I wanted to give him some money. And then I told him, oh, I'm here for V1 Festival, and Bernard Purdie is there. He was like, what? It's like, yeah, you know Bernard Purdie. He was like, yeah, he's like the Godfather. I'm like, yeah. He's right around the corner. He's like, he's there now? I'm like, yeah. So he packed up his drums, you know, he said like, where? You gotta tell me where. I didn't see the guy after, you know, but I'm sure he came, you know, to watch V1. He didn't know about it, you know? So it's this crazy thing, you know, like you are in the same room, you are in the same space with people. I'm like, I didn't know about it either. I was like, Bernard Purdie is here. And I'm like, I was sitting there and I couldn't believe it. And he was just playing his drums with the bass player, remember? And just lecturing people and always having a good time. We had dinner together with Bernard Purdie. And there were so many other guys that, man, I don't even know how to mention everybody. There were too many. Yeah, it's a great jam.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like a miracle. Sometimes you feel like a miracle. Everything what you can imagine is here. Yeah, it's nice. And I think people wanna think your feelings after the battle with Crazy Legs. Everybody waiting this so much, and what you feel after this, and after 1 year, and come back here, and how you think how was this battle?
To me, it meant a lot. It meant a lot. I mean, just thinking about those 3 months when I got ready, 3-4 months to get ready for this event, every day, practicing, thinking about strategy and everything, what I'm going to do, and so on, getting fit, you know, like running, doing Russian kettlebell, and, you know, like all these crazy things that I did. And also studying Crazy Legs again, thinking about, you know, like the movements I learned from him, how inspired I was back in the days, you know, like getting into the videos that we had of Rocksteady Crew way back in the days. Also the time, you know, like I lived in New York for a while, and how we were dancing together in Get Original, you know, and like back then, I have to say we were really not friends, you know. Like he was with Rocksteady, and I had my own crew, Battle Squad, and sometimes, you know, like there was friction. And, you know, like now, because of other events where we met each other too, like UK Champs, for example, you know, like there was more and more peace. We had more and more respect for each other. And then at some point, you know, to have this battle happening, which is also, I never looked at it as like I never really looked like I'm going to challenge Crazy Legs. I'm going to crush him. It was much more that Legs and me, that we both had the mature mind to think like, look, we're not doing this for us. It's not my ego against your ego anymore. We're doing this for the culture, showing people, look, we can still throw down. We're still fit. We're still here. We are us. You know, like he represented himself, his own style, his own background, everything. I represented myself. I only did my moves, my background, my thing. You know, like showing this and showing people, look, it's all about that personality. It's all about the knowledge of self, that you grow, you're still doing this. And there's a possibility to maybe still dance b-boying until you're 80, 90 years old. We don't know. It's up to us, you know? It's like we're part of the oldest generation right now that is still rocking it, you know, that is still doing it. And I hope that I'm still going to be able to dance until the day I die, basically. I'm not going to be as fast as I'm still now, and I'm not going to do all these crazy moves still, but I hope that by what we've shown, that people realize that there's a possibility to do this until a very high age.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you and this battle inspired people a lot, all around the world. Everybody was in shock, I think.
Yeah. Well, I hope that we inspired. That's what we did this for. And also how peaceful it was, and that, you know, like when the battle was finished, I was really happy to be there. I was like, we did this, you know, like we made it possible. We made it happen. And then Wiggles was there, my boy Raphael. Also that I had Cisco and Robin, you know, that also, like, you know, like being around everybody and with this familiar atmosphere, yeah, when I really had that feeling like, look, we all embrace this art form and we're in this together, you know, and that's the feeling. This is what I mean when I first described the event, V1, how different it is from getting on a stage like at Battle of the Year, when you might have like 7,000, 8,000 or maybe 11,000 people in front of you, but they're not as close. They don't witness it at close as, you know, like when you come to V1 Festival and people are right next to you, yeah, and they can support you to the fullest.
Yeah, it's feeling like you come to somebody's birthday or somebody's
yeah, exactly,
home.
Yeah, party. Yeah. Somebody's barbecue party,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah. And so today will be battles, and today will be our special V1 battle. It's 2 versus 2, master and student. What do you accept from this?
Well, of course, I'm hoping that when you call it master and student, I'm hoping that that master is not just giving away his technique. I'm hoping when we hear master and student, that the master really is a master, that he wants his student to become better than himself. I think that's something that is, you know, every master wants. If it's a real master, if it's a true master, you want your student to become better than you. So the transcendence within it is very important. So now, if I would be a master like that, I would guide my student rather than to tell him, learn this, learn that, learn from me. I would rather go like, your resemblance with what you're doing is more like this guy is doing. So check him out for a minute. Look at this guy, maybe you can learn something from him. Then he comes back, and then I go like, look at this guy, maybe he can help you, yeah? And then he comes back. So I think this mentorship is much more important as a master than to just like, I make my compromises, now learn from my compromises. I think that every person in life has to make his own compromises in order to become himself. Yeah? So now, when we hear master and student, I think that with the community we have, as big as it is right now, there's a great chance that the master, not that he pushes his student away, but he makes this guidance happen, that he's like, okay, go there, go there, go there. So that the master and the student don't look the same. That's terrible, yeah? I think the master has to look like him, and the student has to look like him. And then as a combination, they have common vocabulary because they're practicing, they've been doing things together for a long, long time. So you have possibilities for routines, for, just like your brothers, So you look at what this guy's doing, so you can jump in and you could unfold things the way they're supposed to be, So that we see on one hand, master and student, they were together, but on the other hand, each one has his own personality. Then it's going to be, that's what I want to see.
Nice, yeah. You have so much experience, I feel like this experience just flowing from you, like this. And today will be one more special battle. It's not just exhibition battle, but it's not a battle in Olympic system. It's just one crew versus crew.
Yeah.
One of the best crews in Russia for years, Top 9 versus Predators, and it will be like exhibition battle, but with judge. You will judge it,
yeah.
And Crazy Legs by Skype and Ken Swift. And
well, I just hope
it will be about half an hour.
Yeah,
long battle.
Oh shit, it's half an hour.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that since with Skype, I just hope that there's not going to be any delay with the music, because of course, when you have Legs and Kenny as being judges, then of course
they will look battle not by Skype. We will look on them by Skype, but they will look in live stream, and live stream is okay. It's perfect. It's
okay. Great.
Man,
really, I've never done anything like that. So I'm curious. It's funny how I'm gonna sit there. It's like I'm the only live person that is sitting there and judging, and Kenny and Legs are judging from the U.S. Funny also, is Legs in Puerto Rico? Is he in New York?
Actually, I think he in Puerto Rico now.
Yeah, so Legs is in Puerto Rico. Kenny is in Los Angeles, I think. Yeah. Let's see this. Let's check this out. It's for me, Top 9 and Predators. They're the most notoriously known b-boy crews in Russia. So to have both in one stop, you already know it's going to be heated. This is going to be crazy. And you're going to have 7 against 7.
Yeah.
It's going to be madness. It's going to be madness. And trust me, I'm going to have my list ready. I'm going to write notes down. I want to make sure that everything I do is right, that I can explain later on why I voted for which side. It's, my heart is beating, my heart is beating faster already for this battle. And I know everybody in Top 9 very well. I know everybody from Predators very well. I'm friends with all of them. So it's going to be, I can't say,
It will be kind of a challenge for you, to be a real judge.
Right.
Yeah. Nice.
It's going to be very interesting. This is one of, when we're talking about the battle between Legs and me, I'm saying this is one of the battles that I would always tune into when I'm looking at his generations right now. They are still top notch. Everybody in the world, like b-boys, when they tune in, when people are starting, come on, when you look at Russia, as big as Russia is, people have to know Predators and Top 9. There's no way people are not going to look at this battle, and it's probably going to go down in history. That's nice. They won, they won Battle of the Year, both crews, and looking at that as well, world famous.
Nice. So you third day in St. Petersburg now, and 2 days you was free, and you're not first time here, but can you tell how you feel about St. Petersburg?
The most important thing for me here right now is that I finally had the chance to bring my son. Yeah, so my son is here with me, and we went shopping, of course, a little bit, because we've seen some Jordans, and I bought him his first Jordans. But we went to Hermitage, we went to different places, just so I could show him some of the sites as well, so that if he's coming back home and when people are asking him like, okay, so you were in St. Petersburg, so what have you seen? He's not just going to go like, well, I went shopping, but that he saw some culture as well, So I'm really happy about that I finally could bring him, because the last 3 times I was here by myself, but I always thought about my family, of course, and I like to have my family around. If I'm traveling, then I miss them. So right now I don't miss of anything. Well, of course I miss my wife, but she's also at a nice base right now. It's like she's on an island, you know, like where her family is coming from. She's on Guadeloupe, so she's safe. She has a good time. So there's no reason to be jealous or anything, you know, so it's all great.
Great. So some question about 90s, I think. When my generation started, one of the first videos, what we saw, it was your video when you do all elements, all different variations of all elements in, I think, in blue pants.
Yeah. That was the Storm video, yeah.
What year is this?
The video was made in 96, January 96. It was, well, actually in 95, in September, October 95, I herniated a disc in my spine, in my upper spine. I was doing too many suicides, you know, like flipped over and landed on my back. Back then I thought it was from head spins, but I'm sure now that it came from the suicides. And because of that, then there was a moment where I had no more power in my left arm. So my left arm, there was no more power in it, and also my chest, you know, like the muscle, I couldn't even do push-ups anymore or something. It was really, really weak. So I got my neck scanned. They said I had a blow-in disc. And I actually thought that I was never going to be able to break again the way I used to. I rested for like, I would say 2 to 3 months almost, where I couldn't really do anything. I went to physio twice, 3 times a week, you know, just to heal. And then after, like in January, I started to do shows with Swift Rock again. And then every day I was getting better and I got back in shape. And then there was a moment where I was just thinking like, okay, now I'm just going to record everything that I know, you know, like all the footwork, every combination, whatever, you know, let me just do this and bring it out, you know, so that people know. Or basically I did it for myself at first, just to have it on video. And then the guys from Flying Steps, they were saying like, oh man, this is amazing. We didn't even know you can do all this stuff. So maybe, you know, like, why don't you make a videotape and you bring it out to the world so that people can see what's possible? And I'm like, well, fair enough, let's do it. Let's do it. So I produced the video. Then I asked Swift Rock if he wanted to do a video too. So Swift and me, we both came out with the first videotapes ever, actually. It was the first B-Boy solo tapes in the world. Yeah, so we produced this tape. What was good about it is also that I wasn't quite in shape, you know. It's like when you watch it now, you know, I'm still thinking it's amazing. But man, I wish that people would have seen me break half a year before. Yeah, because half a year before I was just spinning. I was doing things non-stop. Especially, you know, like I really got into elbow spins, spinning on my elbows, because my brother Speedy, he started it, and I wanted to get it too. I started to really like that movement. So there's a video from like March, April, May, something like this in 95. Where it's also online, where you see me doing elbow spins and practicing. But see, when I did elbow spins, what I did is I was always spinning and dunk, and then I landed on my head. Continue. I went back on elbow spins. But also, I think when I jumped on my head like this is also one of the reasons why that disc popped. So I completely stopped that. Yeah, but there were moments where I would just spin and spin and spin and spin, slow it down, turn around, the other way around, and so on and on. So that was like until mid-95, and then this happened, and that's the moment when I stopped practicing power moves. After that, I got more into top rocking, footwork, a lot more. Also, I got a lot more into pop-in and lock-in after. Then there was a moment also from summer 96. From summer 96, my partner Swift Rock, he stopped dancing professionally. He pulled a hamstring, and it took him like 9 to 10 months to heal. So these 9 to 10 months, he couldn't make any money. So he started to open up a shop. And then he was like, look, I cannot dance anymore with his legs, so what are we going to do? And this is when I started to do solo shows. You know, I started to do solo shows. At the same time, I built on a dance company. We called it Storm and Jazzy Project back in the days. We had 2 guys from Flying Steps in it, Vartan and Amigo. I schooled them about doing theater shows. My ex-wife was in it as well. We did theater shows together from 96 to 99 or 2000. until 2000, and then Flying Steps, they said, look, we want to take care of our own crew now, and I just went on from projects, different projects. I did the Art of Urban Dance, I did many solo theater shows and stuff. So this is how I developed from then. So, and in order to do theater, if you only b-boying, then you know how it is. After 1 minute, you're dead. You know, so you have to do better strategy, and when you're capable of doing different dance styles, then of course you develop more, and this is what happened.
Yeah. And you always, when you from time you start, you always dancing and popping, locking and breaking together. Yeah, from 80s.
Well, yeah. When I first started with breaking, I started with popping too. Yeah. Well, actually, I was doing robot before I was even breaking, but that was even way early. But I didn't take it serious. But when breaking came out, I really started dancing every day. And my brother Speedy and Swift, they never got into popping, really. So, and that's why, since we were hanging out most of the time, when we were practicing, we were not practicing popping, we were practicing breaking. But when we went to jams, of course, there were some poppers there, and that's when I also got into the popping and stuff. But our main thing for many years was from, like, let's say, from 87 to 95, my main thing was breaking. I never stopped popping, but my main thing was breaking.
Nice. So we can say that you real innovator of headspin, because you said me that this position and headspin you created.
I did not create the ball headspin. I saw the ball headspin for the first time from some guys from Australia. They were the first ones I've seen, but then those guys from Australia, they sent some guys from England, second to none. They sent them a tape where they have it from, and they got it from Orco. From Orco, you know, from
Air Force Crew.
Air Force Crew. So Orco, from what I know, Orco is the innovator of the ball headspin. I had other positions.
Yeah.
I had other positions. I had this one where you tip it over.
Like this?
Where you did this. No, well, see, this is what happened was I had a bad abductor, right, from doing windmills. So now I was spinning, and to close my legs like this, it would always hurt. So I started to do this right away. So I was spinning, wow, going into this.
Corner.
Yeah. Legs to the front, you know, just like this, and then from here and then into the drills, or directly also from this position, and we call it the switchblade, switchblade headspins. So you're in this position, and then you go directly, into drills.
Crazy.
So from here,
Crazy
directly up. So this is from me. Then there's a couple of others. We call it the corkscrew. The corkscrew. So first you spin like this, and then you twist it around, and you spin up like this. So the corkscrew is another position that I came up with.
And I think this.
No. The hollow bag headspins, they come from Float. And Float used to do them on his forehead. So he was spinning like this.
Oh.
Yeah, like this, and in a hollow bag position. So that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. You know how Kaku, he's spinning in the back? Yeah. Float was spinning on the front. Yeah. So, but there's a couple yo-yos, for instance. I don't know if anybody else did this, that you're going up and down.
We call it
so we call them yo-yos. I don't know if anybody did them before me, but there's so many moves. You know, like, of course, when you're practicing, it's just, you know, like, when you use ratio, you think of the next move. You think of what can happen next. There were guys in New York and LA and maybe somewhere else on the planet that were practicing different, you know, like different headspins or different moves also. Same thing with Munch Mills, right? When you look at Munch Mills, there was a moment when I thought that I invented Munch Mills. Because what happened is like the same thing. So I had this abductor, was messed up. And now if I would go into windmills, you know, like I would be hurt.
Yeah.
So what happened was I practiced headspins. I went into this position, and then I fell down. And I didn't want to open my legs because then it would hurt.
Yeah.
So I stayed like this. I did like one round of windmill like this. And then my brother, he said like, oh shit, that's a nice move. You know? And I was like, really? You know, and then
Which year it was? You don't remember? Early 90s?
1990. 90, maybe 91, maybe 91. So, and then, because Speedy and me, we were both practicing Munch mills. Then in France, they were calling it the coupole allemand, like the German windmill, you know, and so on and so. In those days, so back then, most of the people that saw these Munch mills, they basically saw it from me first, but I didn't invent it. There's also a video that Paul won later on that he showed me, where you see Orko, Kuriaki, Buck 4, and Azrock together in Los Angeles, and they did a showcase together, and they were practicing. And then you see Azrock, how he's doing Munch mills. He's doing that. But I didn't know this. So, but this is what I mean, you know. There's in the ladder of how you invent moves and what happens. It's like, I think that there's a big possibilities, especially with power moves, that people invent the same move at the same time or almost at the same time. You know the controversy about air flare as well. So on one side you have Pablo from Soul Control, who invented air flare, and on the other hand you had Benny from Flying Steps, who also invented air flare at the same time. So we don't know who was first. We don't know who was first. You know?
Continuous air flare.
Continues. Yeah, well, if, you know, we always said it, if it was just one, we call it air twist.
Yeah.
Because you just twist in the air, you do one and you go back down. But in air flare, you need to have that whip. Yeah, that whip in your hip in order to jump up. If it's just one, the way Ivan used to do it, the way Paulo from Dynamic Rockers Holland, the way he used to do it, that was the first time that I saw it. Or later on also Blaise from Actual Force, from Paris, also he did the same thing. None of these guys had the whip to continue it. Yeah, so for me, that's the big difference between an air twist or an air flare. In New York, they even called it air windmill, and they used to do it in New York too in the 80s.
Air track. Air track.
Air track is another thing.
Yeah.
That's something that Float used to do. Yeah, but it's a similar move. It's a similar move. But Float used to do so many moves, man. I remember I was living at Fable's house. Float also, he shared an apartment with us. Sometimes he would come home. I was practicing. And he would come home and he would say, "Oh, this reminds me of something we used to do back in the days." And I'm looking at him like what? "Yeah, let me show you." And he would just go in and he would do it. And I'm like, oh my God. You know, like there was something that he called elbow tracks as well. You know, which is basically, it's a move that is like, it's similar to elbow air flares, but with a hollow back in between. You know, so I can't do it, you know,
Yeah,
but since he had this flexible back, he would go like from here to the other side. Man, it looked mad. When he did it, I was like, that's a future move. That's like impossible.
I remember I saw a video when you doing air twist. Air twist and going in windmill.
Yeah, but you know, for me, when I would just do one, if I would do windmill, one, and go back into windmill, it was Paulo's move. Yeah, Paulo was the first guy I saw do it, and then Swiftrock and me, we practiced our own version of this air twist. So I went from, you know, like from stab position. So I did a sweep into stab position, then I jumped up. I did one flip and I went into windmill. So that was my version. Swift went out of handstand. Yeah, so he just went up and he did like one twist and he went around. So we had our own version doing it. We did not want to look like Paulo because that was his move, you know, like you would bite it, you know, so that was a taboo. And then when Ivan started in California, and then just everybody did it. I was like, okay, now everybody's doing it, now I can do it too. Yeah.
So I think you're doing all elements, all power move elements. Yeah.
I'm like, I can't do air flare.
Except, but you do one, it's okay.
Yeah, well.
But except air flare.
I'm not sure.
And you can combine every element with every element.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I always wanted to.
What element you can do?
I always wanted to.
Just basic.
I do floats. Yeah.
You do everything.
Yeah, except for air flare.
And I think both sides.
No, not everything both sides.
But even at least one round you can do both sides.
Yeah. One round I manage. Maybe not anymore. I haven't tried it in a long time. Yeah, but I used to do
before.
Yeah, like flares, turtles, windmills, head spins a little bit. You know, I could push, but I could not spin freely the other direction. But yeah, Halo.
One of your secrets.
To do both sides? It never felt good, the other side, you know? But what's funny
it helps
is...
you to progress. It's very important.
Well, you know what we used to do back in the days? When we wanted to get another crew into a battle, we always did our moves on purpose the other way around, so it looks whack. So it looks really bad. So they go like, oh shit, they're not good. Let's battle them. And then when they would step to us, we would pull our moves out the right way, you know? So those were the fun days, and we would laugh if we fall, if we crash, and stuff. It was really funny.
So, do you have a secret of your how you create your style, how you became so dope b-boy?
Thank you. I think that the biggest problem most people have is that they get too quick, too comfortable. When you get too comfortable with what you know, then you only want to do the stuff that you know. Yeah, so you start repeating. Yeah, so like for instance, windmill is your first move. So now every day, because windmill feels good, you practice windmill. You practice windmill. You practice windmill. All these days, windmill, windmill, windmill. Now every time you try another move, you fail. But you feel so good with your windmill. So you continue practicing windmill. And this is where most people have a problem with. So now they want to go to practice. Even at practice, they want to do a show. Yeah? So they go to practice and they want to go like, okay, let me show how dope I am. And I do my windmill. And there's a method, it's called interleaving method. It means that as soon as you know how to do something, combine it with something else. Because if you know how to do one thing and you practice it too much, there's no progression. Yeah? The progression stops very fast. Yeah? But if you know how to do something and now you always add something, change the way you go into the move, change the way you go out of the move, hold your legs different, use your arm different, use your head different, you know, like practice windmill head spin, just an example. Practice windmill handcuff, you know, that you do windmills, and all these things. So if you get too comfortable, you won't do it. But just when you know how to do it, just when you learn it, change the variation. And if you do that with every move that you're doing, you will never get comfortable, and there will always be room for new interpretations. And that's basically how I learned everything that I did. Yeah, and always be curious. You know, to always be curious, what can I do out of this? Another thing that I thought was very helpful is a lot of people, they think they should only watch good breaking. Yeah? If you watch good breaking, oh, that's how you learn good breaking. But I think in order to be creative, it's important that you watch bad breaking, but in bad breaking, you repair what the person is doing. So you look at something, and in bad breaking now, you see like, it's ugly or it doesn't work. So now you have to repair for yourself how you can make it better so that it fits with you. Yeah? So a lot of times, you know, like people ask me like, why are you even watching this? This is terrible. And I'm like, no, it's not terrible. It's really inspiring. And they don't understand why. It's because I'm using my repair mode. Yeah? I'm looking at it and I go like, oh, but if I did this and I do that, and you know, like you screw here, and you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then you do this, ta-da, and then it's finished. So you use what you see, you change it around, you mix it with what you do, and something new is developing. You know, and
each one teach one.
Yeah, kind of. But most of the time, these guys, they don't even know that how inspiring they are. Yeah, it's even when you battle somebody and you think you're better, right? You think you're better. This person you're battling is always inspiring you. He's always inspiring you to give some extra. So you never go like, I would never battle a person where I think like this guy is whack. Yeah? Oh, you're terrible. You're nothing. If you do that, it's like beating women. You see what I mean? You don't beat a woman because you know you're stronger, right? And it'd be like the same thing, like, why would you beat a woman? It doesn't make any sense. You would always look at somebody who's either equal or who's even better than you, yeah? Like that you learn, like that you step up and you know like, this was a nice battle. You know, you want a good battle to happen. If you crush somebody like this, then where's the fun? Yeah, well, that's my opinion.
Yeah, thank you.
But that's why I want to find out, like the battle, top 9 versus Predators. It's gonna be madness for sure.
Yeah, top 9 and Predators represent this generation. So we start as generation late 90s, early 2000s. So we start because of Jam Style and the Boogie Crew.
Yeah.
Do you remember this?
Of course,
guys?
of course. Hey, I mean, this is the times that I spent with Alexander and Alexei in Berlin.
Yeah.
These two crazy guys. Oh man, I just hope that one day we can meet again and I don't know, for dinner or something.
Yeah,
and
it's
we
not
can,
difficult. They live in Moscow.
Yeah, yeah. If we could talk about the old times and what happened in Berlin and what happened after and stuff, because they, like they came, and I remember one time I was in the winter. In winter, it was snowing, and I was driving along Kurfürstendamm, and I saw these two guys doing street shows in the snow, man, in the snow. They were hardcore.
96?
They were hardcore. Yeah. And then later on, they participated with Flying Steps at Battle of the Year stuff. We had a great time. But these guys, they were like the exact same way on how we looked at Russians. You know, they were really quiet, always like they were never laughing. They were just sitting in the corner studying. You know, like okay, go. We had a good time. We had a good time in Berlin.
Great to hear this, because they start a very big wave of hip hop culture breaking in Russia in 99, 2000. So some advices for Russian b-boys and b-girls, for everybody, what you can say to them in camera.
Yeah, well, I mean, the style is called b-boying, right? And there's a reason for it. Because as a boy, you play. Yeah. So when you're little, you know, I'm looking at my son too. When he's coming out, he's doing his thing, he plays. And I think that is really, really important that we never lose the play element. I think most of the time, you know, like we grow up and then we're an adult and we get serious. You know, and once people get serious, the biggest problem is they get too serious about it and they lose the play element. Now that play element, in order to be creative, to have fun and to live something good with your life, that's something that's still in the boy, right? So we should always look back and we should try and find out, why did we even start to dance in the first place? Because we wanted to have fun. Yeah, so if it's getting too serious, usually we lose the play element, and when you lose the play element, you know, like most of the creative part is getting lost, and people don't want to do mistakes anymore, and so on. But we learn through mistakes, and this is how we grow higher. Yeah, and this is how we still continue being boys, even though we're adults.
Yeah, it's nice. I agree with you. Yeah, thank you. Сегодня будут крутые батлы, мы возвращаемся в прямой эфир. Это был B-Boy Storm, представляющий Battle Squad Германия, настоящая легенда здесь с нами. Не первый раз на V1 батле. Бог, который бился с Crazy Lex'ом в прошлом году. V1 battle. Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
Yeah.